Hi there, Capricorn. I'm doing a special series on looking at this portal period, which I call a green light portal, from mid-November until the end of January, where all the planets, except Uranus, but that's an outer planet that turns direct in mid-January, are direct and not retrograde. And as I record this in the first week of October, we have Mars and Mars retrograde, and then Mercury's going retrograde next week, and we also have Uranus retrograde, and I don't know, I think that's it at this point. And we've had a lot of these retrogrades, Venus and Mars retrograded both in the same year, and they do it every year and a half to 2 years, but they just so happen to do it within the same time frame. And I think we had more Mercury retrogrades than usual, but it was just one thing after the other. And so when we have planets going direct, then it feels like we have forward momentum rather than a lot of hurry up and wait. Okay, so looking at it from that perspective, but also at the same point, what are the lessons of 2020 that might have come up for you? And this is for fun, you don't have to get so serious about it, but we can just see what comes up for you. Especially since Saturn went back into Capricorn, maybe that has brought up some issues for you. Oh, interesting. Okay, so these are the two central themes. The one on the left is the past, when things have been with the retrogrades, and I'm also picking additional cards for the lessons that may have occurred and what is to come. Okay. So looking at, the bulk of the year, we have the Magician card. So for Capricorn, this may have been a time when we've had a lot of challenges as a collective with the shutdown and the aftermath of that shutdown, of people having to be resourceful. Now I'm saying that as for all of us, but for you, this may have really hit home for whatever reason. So let's say you own a business and the shutdown created a lot of upheaval with your work staff or your supply chain, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes we have to learn how to make do, kind of eke things out. And we haven't really had to do that a lot in recent years because I'm talking about specifically Americans. I can't speak for the rest of the world, but we tend to have everything at our fingertips and we don't have a lot of hardships. And I feel like this year people had to learn how to cope with maybe some limitations. Maybe in some cases, some Capricorns had to create their own work because they got laid off and it wasn't a time when, you're going on interviews. And so even though that can feel really scary in that moment, it probably, it can really strengthen a person's character, their resolve in life. And the Magician, kind of illustrates to me what I feel is the practical side of magic, because I never resonated with magic before. I'm talking about, the manifestation and the people that believe that they create their own reality, and magic to them may mean that they are making things happen, that they're making their dreams come true by the law of attraction, for instance. And that, I resonated with, but before, when I would hear the term magic, it seemed so random to me. And it seemed like it was something that, it just happens because you have good luck. And I realize now, even if you look at it in a new agey kind of a way, that it does take personal desire to attract these things, but you have to do work along with that. It's not just about attracting things. You have to maintain them. Even if somebody, if you win $1 million in the lottery, if you don't save that money, any of that money, it's going to be gone. And we see that a lot happen with the lotteries, that people, they cannot hold on to it because they just don't have the ability to either manage money or to believe that they are deserving of it, so they make foolish decisions. So this may have really been about you stepping up to the plate and taking charge of your own life in some way and feeling self-empowered as a result. Looking back on that, feeling self-empowered. Sometimes Capricorns rely on the system to carry them through, and they think that if they go to college and they get that degree, then everything's going to be turn up roses. And then when we have these kinds of events that occur like we've had, it's actually a good thing from the standpoint of reminding people that nothing is guaranteed in life. And, if you're counting on something outside of yourself, it's out of your control. You can't guarantee that it's going to be there just because you expect it to be there. It's like when people put money in the bank and then there's a run on the bank, it feels like you promised. Well, okay, but what are you going to do about it? There was a run on the bank. So when you have your inner resources, you don't rely on these outer things as much. Okay, so the 3 cards I got for this past, what we would call it 10 months, I guess. The 10 of Pentacles, this is family money. Now, maybe you've had to rely on family money. In some cases, with the Magician card, I wouldn't be surprised if some Capricorns have had to maybe humble themselves and ask for money because of their financial situation. And that might have been the last thing you wanted to do, but you just had to do it. In some cases, if you had the resources to help others, you may have been called upon to do that. But the 10 of Pentacles can also be that if you put your mind to it, you can make even more money than you have ever made, simply because you are willing to cultivate a vision for yourself and follow through, and it's your vision. It's not somebody else's dream, but your dream. We have the 3 of Cups. There may have been some kind of celebration or something that has occurred that has, and sometimes I have here too, the 2 of Wands. So we have a 3 and we have a 2. If this is any kind of like romantic situation, relationship issue, it is possible that you had to confront infidelity in your marriage, committed partnership, and the other person with this 3 of Cups, this could be a card of womanizing, but they may have a drinking problem. And that's, even though, you don't want somebody cheating on you regardless, until they get their drinking under control, they do things that they later regret because they're under the influence. And also drinking makes them go out because they want to socialize, because you're not going to do it with them. You don't want to encourage it. And then the 2 of Wands in that scenario would be, should you stay, should you go? And there's another hand there. So there might be some other person who figures into this decision besides yourself. And so it's not just about you and what you want, in other words. If this is connected to like a business, maybe you have started your own business, you may be relying on your friends to help you to buy from you, to spread out, spread the word on this. This could be, you might be like celebrating your child's impending marriage, graduation from college. Perhaps you have provided them with some kind of money, like as a gift to start them out in life, whether it's the what you gave them as a gift for the wedding or for their graduation present. But there's something about all of that has to do with you. And unless you are the one who already knows about the law of attraction and you're teaching it to your loved ones, that could also be it. So let's look at what is coming in. And by the way, I just want to say that I've done a few of these so far, and yours is a very positive one in the past position. So this may, and I was thinking, well, why wouldn't this affect Capricorn as much? And I think, with the shutdown and things like that, I think that because you have both, now you have Saturn back in your own sign, and you have Jupiter in Capricorn, you may be feeling positive effects from that. And coming into, for the rest of this time frame, we have the Eight of Wands, which is full steam ahead. So you might have been feeling this sense of a lull, and now everything is kind of breaking open, and you are just kind of, being flooded with offers, or and by the way, I just want to reiterate that this is specifically from the period between November 15th and December and January 31st or 30th, whenever the Mercury goes retrograde. So it's not, I feel like from October until mid-November, we're still going to be tying up loose ends. So then everything can just kind of spring into action. We have the Two of Pentacles. This can be a job offer that is overseas, and you might be weighing that. And that goes along with the Two of Wands. Maybe this is something that has come up before, and now it's coming up again. And really asking of you to decide, what you want to do. Maybe you're juggling two jobs. One of them may be your day job, and the other one, a business that you own. Then we have the Four of Swords, and this is a card of taking a breather. I did pick this one last. It really doesn't matter which thing, but it might be that you've never stopped working, and for this time frame, maybe around Christmas or whenever things slow down, you may decide to take some kind of a breather so that you can get your head straight, so you can figure out, what your next action is. And then we have the Death card, which is a card of transition. But the person has to be willing to accept that this transition is necessary. If they're clinging too much to, that sort of their past situation, they can find that they're not going to progress. They're going to try to keep something going that is no longer viable, whether it's a relationship or a job which has run its course and which is actually draining your energy. So this can mean that there's expansion in your life, and certainly with Jupiter in your sign, I wouldn't be surprised. And Jupiter does go into Aquarius in December, around the time of the winter solstice. And that can be a power period for you because the sun goes into your sign and you have a new moon in January. So during this time, this is going to be your second house of earned income. That could be like very powerful. So that might be good for money for the upcoming, for 2021. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this, Capricorn. If you'd like a private reading, the link to my different offerings is below. You can find out more information. Most of them are astrological readings. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.